Welcome everyone. Richard Carlton, creator of FMTraining.tv. Welcome to Friday. Thank God it's Friday, right? People always like to say that. I want to check in with you on how things are going and are you prepared for an awesome day of FileMaker training? Hopefully you're ready to go. Once again, my name is Richard Carlton. We create great FileMaker training at FMTraining.tv. I'm going to go ahead and punch up our upcoming schedule for live broadcast events. We are broadcasting live in 1080 high definition, both to Twitch and to YouTube. And you can watch that content if you want. It's pretty awesome on either channel. And there is a text chat in there, so you can text chat on that as well. Upcoming schedule for the next couple days. Today is obviously a day video. It's got Nick's picture in here, but Nick is not actually here today. Nick and Myles actually work together on the project. The good news is that Myles can actually talk about this probably just as well as Nick can. Nick is the architect of our video in terms of the visual style, the visual parts of the tool, the video player. And so that's the new version 2020 edition. And Myles has been really making it all work. And so today is on that. Nick will be back on Monday. And then the three of them will probably be together one last day on Tuesday where we talk about the data exchange. So we're going to talk about all of it. And any question on this topic is fair game. We're not going to spend too much time on the aesthetic design component of it because Nick's not here. He can't speak to that. I can just tell you it's kind of pretty on that. And then Myles is going to run through the new one, the capabilities of it. I think some of you are going to be blown away with what we're doing on this. It's more and more like a real application, like in terms of it updating and stuff like that. But you'll see that I'm not totally comfortable with a couple components with that. And so if you're building your own vertical market application, today is going to be really interesting for you. You're going to want to think about what's happening here and whether you would want to do that or not, right? Reminder, because it's really relevant about today, and that is if you support the channel, we really appreciate most of you here support the channel. There's a lot of lurkers, people who don't type too much, but in one way or another, most of you have been involved with us to some degree, either a customer or get our training, etc. So once again, we recommend that you check out the complete training bundle, which comes with a copy of FileMaker 19. There is no 19 Pro 19 Advanced. The advanced version, they just dropped the word advanced from it, so now it says FileMaker Pro 19 or 19 Pro, depending on which way you want to say that. We also have, if you already have FileMaker on your computer and you're licensed for it, we have the training course here that's available as well. We will send you a coupon online here if you're interested in that. So I want to kind of pivot into the conversation today a little bit. And what I want to do is talk about the current video player we have in market right now. This is the one that we hatched this about 3 weeks ago. The new one looks a lot like this, but we're talking radically better in terms of capabilities in the new one. You're going to see some new capabilities today, but one of the underlying concepts that we've had is that you're going to, and some of you didn't quite catch this, is that this one video player will replace all the other video players. I mean, we're not going to ship it. Like if someone bought Pro 17 training, we're not going to ship them the new player. The new player only comes to you if you have a current subscription with us. However, what we're doing, instead of you going to different video players for different courses, they're all in here. So you can select the current course right here. This is a card slide out. We talked about this yesterday a lot. Some of the things that we do are complicated, technically hard to implement or technically hard to maintain. So for example, if you have an Aston Martin vehicle or a Jaguar from the UK, I don't know what it is about UK making really expensive cars that have really high maintenance demands. I don't understand that. Some of you are from the UK, maybe you can explain that someday. And then you've got people like the Japanese, for example, who make Toyotas and Hondas, and they're not nearly as sexy per se, but the maintenance and the overhead on them is a lot lower. So when you have flashy stuff, you have to decide how much maintenance goes into that. So this is decidedly heavier on the visual candy, the polish of it, lower. And but it has a correspondingly higher level of maintenance to it. Although I think once we have it done, it'll be pretty straightforward. Myles, you are here, correct?
I am.
Okay, cool. So Myles here, I'm going to leave you if you want to be muted or unmuted, whatever that works for you. And so I'm just showing them this is the version 17 player. The version that we're going to ship to everyone tomorrow, whenever, is going to be what, version 21, something like that? Maybe Monday, whenever we ship it.
Yeah, I got 21 is the latest right now.
Okay, so what's going to happen is not today, so I'm going to say this again, not today. We are going to, but tomorrow, probably more like Monday, tomorrow's Saturday, sorry. Tuesday, I'm thinking business days now, Tuesday, we will have an unlocked version of this for you. We're going to take out the sensitive parts where it talks back to our server, remove that, remove those credentials out of here, but give you an unlocked version of this so you can play with it. You're not going to get the unlocked version today. Once again, if you see someone asking about that because they came in late, feel free to let them know that they will get the unlocked version will be made available on Tuesday. And so understand that basically at the end of the day, this system is driven by basically 3 tables. It's a course table, which is basically a table with these records right here. That's all there is to it. And then there is a categories tables by the section. So if you go into the Pro 19 course, of course, you can come over here. We're in the 19 course up here, but now we have this portal here, which is showing the records from the section, the categories table, right? And then these are the actual videos here. So then as you press the video, it will play, right? So we see this right here. It will play. So it's basically 3 tables. You can't really see the left one here. When Nick initially designed this, I poo-pooed it because he had 3 portals here. He had a left portal really kind of over here, which had the list of courses. So you select the course, then the category, and then the video. And really, when most people get into it, we talked about this yesterday, whether you wanted to have a hamburger menu. That was that conversation with, I think it was M. Johnson, right? Yesterday, 24. I think that was his comment. Why not do a hamburger menu? Technically, once you select this up here, this is a hamburger menu. You can't see it unless you press the button, it rolls down. You can select a course. If you're constantly jumping back and forth, like the Launchpad file has those items on the left side, they're persistent, what we call persistently available. You always see them, as opposed to a hamburger menu, which is not persistent. The button is always there, but the persistence of the selection is not there. So if you're not bouncing around constantly, then having it roll up into a hamburger menu is maybe more useful. So understand that this is this part of it right here. Myles is going to pop this up and show this, but I want to wire your heads up about a couple things. First, we're going to show the new search capability. And once again, Nick has been showing you search. So none of this, everything that Nick has shown you in Lean Design, he has applied in here. So this is not like something you haven't seen before. It's just a practical application of it, right? The other thing that's really an important topic is the idea that when you come into your account over here and you put your license key in, and everyone can see this magical license key for the moment. This will obviously get removed or changed or whatever. If you get a new version, like you download a new version of your FileMaker application, like another player, like this is player 17, and the next one you'll get is version 21. There is no 18, 19, 20. Those were all internal test ones. We're doing this the same way Claris does it, way other companies do it. When they get to a stable point, then they will release it out to the testers or to their customers, etc. So we're on 19, we'll be on 21. FileMaker Pro, for those of you wondering, is currently on, this build right here is build 116. So this is X, FileMaker 19X, build number 116. And I know internally they're probably up to build 130 by now at least, I would think. Do we have it? No, because they're not going to ship. Whatever they ship to us on the next update will be one that they decide is for the public. So you don't get every release. There's gaps in there. So anyway, so the idea is that if someone downloads a new player, the code won't be in the new player. And then they have to go to their email, copy and paste it and put it in. That sucks. So the issue is, like if every time you updated Microsoft Office on your computer or FileMaker on your computer, you had to put the license key in all over again. What a pain that would be. Well, that's what we have right now. Like today, that's the way it works. And that's going to suck because a lot of people putting the license key in is almost asking too much. We have a wide variety of users, people who just really are all technically like all over it and they really understand where everything's at and how everything works. And there's other people to copy and paste from point A to point B is a challenge, right? It really is. And so understand that I'm not saying this is bad or it's good. It's not a judgment. It just is. If you want to be in business, you're going to have customers who can technically drill through some stuff, and you have customers who don't even know where to start. And they're both valuable. You want them. because they give you money and you're delivering a great thing for them, whatever your product is. But if you're building a vertical market application, the technical aptitude of your customer will vary. So I know that the people who can do this will do it, but they'll be like, oh, why doesn't Richard get it together? He sucks. And then the people who can't do it will generate tech support into my tech support team, and the tech support team answers it, and then that process, them working on that, costs money, right? And so this gets back to, like, if I can fix it here, there'll be less tech support, and then that means I have less costs. If you're thinking about a vertical market application, which I know some of you are, right, then this is a concern. You don't want unnecessary tech support. You want legit tech support. Someone who can't copy and paste is not really legit. It's legit tech support, but it should be avoidable, in quotes, right? So that's what we did. So I'm going to run through a quick flow chart here with you to show you what we cooked up. So you know what to expect, because Myles is going to run us through this. And then we can pop it open and talk about it. This flow chart is kind of an internal dialogue, so that's not really so much for you folks. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on it a little bit up here. So the idea is that there was an update button. Some of you have yet to find the update button at the top of the video player. And then I get complaints that they can't find videos or something. Please press the update button before you send us a complaint, right? And that's actually another tech support issue. I'm sitting here staring at the screen, but that's another tech support issue. The whole idea that the whole idea is that someone might not press that update button and then complain that there's a video not available or something there when it is there if they just press the update button. So that then the question comes in: should we force that button to run every time they open the file? That could be a little bit stressful and unnecessary. So you have to kind of, we're trying to figure out a happy medium on that. Like if someone hasn't updated it in 2 weeks, it will run, forcibly run on them. I don't know. The problem is that once again, I had a tech support for my team and my team mishandled the tech support issue, a separate issue. But as a bug that one of you reported 3 weeks ago, someone just opened FileMaker 19 for the first time and said, video 751, 0751, 0753, or 55, whatever, aren't working. Well, they don't work because they were broke at the time we created that application, but that data has been updated since then, right? So they have to press. So this is, once again, the psychological aspects of this. So if the user presses the update button, I have that actually in here twice in the flowchart, but what ends up happening is that we will tell Safari to download the newest update, and we're going to tell the person, hey, you need to go find that. Now, in an ideal world, and we could do this, but it's a little. Ted said the other day, a bridge too far, right? When you're doing new things and you're doing things that could cause problems if you don't do it right. Sometimes you do it incrementally, and so this is kind of our first pass at this. We're not telling FileMaker to just go download the file and update itself magically and just pop like FileMaker. FileMaker mostly has problems with this, but if you go to like Microsoft Office, frequently you'll have a very, what we call frictionless update process. You say it update, the progress bar runs, it might quit, reopen, whatever, but then it comes up and it works. The idea with this is that we're telling Safari to do the download, not FileMaker. Safari or Chrome or Edge or whatever you're using is going to be sandboxed as a general rule. It's going to download things to a specific location. We don't know where that is as a developer. And so we're telling the user when it's done, hey, you need to go find the new download, right? And these little dots, don't worry about those. Those are part of my application here. But due to the sandbox restrictions, we don't know where that is. Go find the new file. Now, when we did this, this is the part that Myles really kicked butt on. I mean, really epically. Is that when we do the download, we know that you're probably going to use that file. So starting with FileMaker 18, you can read and write text files. I'm not talking about importing and exporting. Myles thought that initially when I was talking to him. You can actually create a text file anywhere on the computer that the operating system will let you, okay? And so you can write anything into that text file. It's not like an import-export. You can kind of do an export-export. Literally, it's a text file, and Myles is going to demonstrate this. We write in there the things that you got from the email, your license key and your name, and a couple items in there. And then what happens is when you open the new video player, it knows to go look in that spot and to import that information, so you don't have to put the new license key in. Super cool, right? And so the idea is that It imports it. It verifies the license key is still good, and then we actually an update now. We must have you do an update on the first open at least, right? And that's the process we've been working through. It's pretty good in terms of where we're happy with. Now, what we didn't do is that we actually, because we know where the old file was, right? Because when we over here, this is the old file running, this is the new file running. The old file knows where it's at. So in the preferences file, we say this is where I'm at. Like there's a little like path name to where I'm at. So then when the new file opens, it opens the preferences. It knows where the old file is at. We go to that file and we rename it. We put the word old in it. We could have deleted it, but that's one of those areas where we're like, not comfortable with that yet, right? So we don't delete the old one. We just mark it as old so the user knows it's old, because your users frequently will get confused between the new file and the old file. Even though it says X17 and X22, they won't understand that. So we put the word old in the old one for you. So Myles, are you there? Do you want to kind of walk us through this a little bit? Because I think this is pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's interesting.
All right, cool. Why don't we jump onto your screen? I'm going to make you full screen here. Let me zoom back out a little bit. Now, what build are we looking at here? We're looking at build.
So this is 21.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to mention, kind of, I think you started the conversation there talking about this update videos, and then you went into your flow chart, which talks about an update button, but kind of like you tagged at the end there, we're talking about two different update things.
Yeah, it occurred to me that it's confusing, right? So
yeah, we have update videos, which that's okay. Give me the latest videos, and then the new thing we're adding is the update the version of the app. So
now,
if we put out a
right.
new 22.
Now this won't even show up. So when we run this brings down some preference information. By running this process, we know that there is a new version, and that allows us to trigger this right here. That button's a little on the ugly side, but for today it's fine. But the idea is that it would blend in, and we have this little motion going on here, probably because of is it because of that animated GIF there? Is it white background on that, Myles? Is that what that's about?
Yeah, rather than spend time beating on the web viewer.
Yeah.
It's got a white background.
Right. Well, we will work on that between here and say Monday, or I'll work on it. We'll come up with a better graphic. But the idea is it's trying to get your attention. The button will look more like this. So once again, if we run this Myles, go ahead and run this process here for us. So this one has the latest stuff. We're going to put this into a card style window too. Myles threw this into a quick custom dialog. We're running where we have so many courses, so many videos in here that we might just want to only update the current videos and not the legacy. So all videos we update, or the current courses only. You press this right here. It does a more expedient import. So once again, this is the progress bar that all of you have been taught about. Pretty straightforward. If you have questions, let me know. Yesterday's session will be from Paulo on YouTube. Will be made available today at some point. We had to do some edits on that. So let me move this dialog out of the way. So you see right here, we only imported 518 records. This will change a little bit, but not grossly so. If you update all of them, eventually that'll be 2,000 or 3,000, well, actually closer to 3,000 videos that'll come down. So it takes longer to do that. So what happens is it did the 3 updates. I'm going to go ahead and not minimize, but make it so I can talk to people here, Myles. What we're going to find out real quick is that it did there were the 3 updates: courses, categories, and videos. Then it did the 4th with a single record of preferences, and in there tells the player what the current shipping version is, and it knows that the current shipping version is version 22, right? And so so what we want to do is go ahead and run through this process here of downloading this. So you want to walk us through this, Myles?
Yeah, you just want me to kind of do it, and then if we want to kind of under the hood.
Yeah, and then if you want to move this out of the way a little bit, everyone can see that. So yeah, just down. Yeah, there we go. If you want to, just walk through, and we have questions here, but I want to get this in people's heads so they start thinking about this. So go ahead and walk us through this.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna. So with that pref download, it basically told us there's a 22 available. So then this button would show up. So I can click on that. We get a dialog saying, hey, there's a new build 22. Do you want to proceed? If you don't want to, we just cancel out of that. But then
Okay.
let's.
Okay, hold up 1 second before you do that. So, take TK55678. In my personal opinion, I would personally switch the naming to download new videos and update new video app. Oh, okay. I didn't get what he was talking about. Probably a good point. See, we're building this organically. So I would change the verb there, move it to there, and then move that one to here, Myles. That's a really good idea, actually. That's a really good idea. Yeah, we'll have to clean this up just a little bit. This dialogue's a little, but you kind of threw this together last second. So what we're going to do is we're going to proceed. Now, what this will do is what? Create the preference file for us, right? And then also, what, download?
Yeah, so this is actually going to do two things. It's going to download the new version with whatever your default browser is. So mine's probably going to pop into Safari. And then it's also going to make that that little preference file that Richard talked about. And we're just doing it in our documents directory. And then that'll kind of take us to the next step, and then we can talk a little more.
So it's saying, hey, download the latest version, which it does.
So that's downloading there. If I go back to FileMaker, we have a new dialog here. It says that we downloaded, it's where your downloads are. Some people, that's their desktop. Some people, that's your downloads folder.
And the operative thing here is we don't know where it's at. As a FileMaker person right now, like, it's literally like being dropped on Mars with an air pack, like that Martian movie, and you don't have a clue even where you're at on the planet's surface, or if anyone else is on the planet with you. So we're really totally lost here. We know where we're at, and so when we wrote the preferences file, we actually wrote a path to where we are currently at the moment. So there we go.
Yeah, so I hit OK. That closes the file.
So it closes that out. Okay.
Yeah, and then this is what was actually created.
Yeah, you might want to spend a moment and show this to people. So it creates a preferences file, and if I'm going to zoom in here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you, Myles, here so they can see this. So starting with FileMaker 18, we have, conveniently enough, training courses on this topic with a cool sample file. So if you have our training, feel free to check it out at fmtraining.tv. All right, so from that sample, literally, Myles had not seen this, had not done this. I gave him the sample file, and he didn't. I don't think he watched the video. He just, here's a sample file. Go tear it apart, dog. And he went and did that. So he wrote. So when that thing runs, it logs the location of where that file is at when it does this, right? So that's it. That's the old file, and then it says that the version of the old file. Then this is his license key. And it's active, and this one expires, and all that kind of stuff. And so it's sitting here waiting, lying in wait. It'll just sit here in perpetuity forever if no one messes with it, right? So go ahead and go to the next. The next step is we told the person to find the file, find their downloads, right?
Yeah, so I'm just going to open it here, and what it's going to do in that startup is look to see if one of those little preference text files exists, and if it is, it's going to import it, and then it's actually going to verify it against the server because it has a license key in it.
Correct.
So I double click this, and we get a dialog saying that, hey, you are a licensed user. So it actually brought it in, and it also tells me when my expiration date is for my bundle, and then just gives you a notification that we actually, if I go back to my Finder here, that file we were just in has now been renamed.
The previous one. So that we could have deleted it. We had the ability to delete it. There is a delete command with these capabilities, but we opted for the rename because that would just let people know it's an old one, right? So, so if you come back over here, Myles, we say sounds great, and then from here we're actually at this point forcing a update on the videos, and so this does a complete one, I think, right?
Correct. Yes.
So it's a little bit longer, and that's eventually this will be a little bit unwieldy, but we'll work on that. So that's kind of the way this is working. And so the idea was that in an ideal world, you would run the update and you wouldn't have to go find the file. In order to do that, we have to use a plugin or something to make that happen, or some other cleverness, like having you log into a FileMaker file on our server and then download it through a container. Like I said, this is step one, and then we'll see how this goes long term. Eventually, it'll be a point where you don't have. So now, right now, notice that update app is not here, or whatever. The app updater is not here because when we run this, it's downloading. Myles, why can you open the video training database? We've showed these guys this before. If you want to not show your screen when you go to the first where those passwords are from yesterday. But once we get into that, we're going to show you these 3 tables or 4 tables that we're importing from, if that makes sense. So, and I say the word importing, I mean kind of a loose verb of grabbing the data and moving it from point A to point B. We are not using an import command. We are using data API with JSON. A lot of you have been watching our JSON training. You learned what a JSON object was on Monday with Calvin. That's the kind of stuff we're doing to make all this work. It's pretty slick stuff. So back here once again, so we're in our video player. So you go up here, go back up to the up here, Myles, to the live stream one, for example. Just show them live streams for a second. So you folks are asking about, actually, yeah, hit that one. You're asking about, like someone was asking, hey, where's that video from yesterday at? So if I scroll down here to the bottom, scroll down, yesterday is 6/11, so it's in progress right now. It's in production. It's not been updated yet. And the one from Calvin on Monday, that should be done. I'm not sure if he hasn't updated that or what. But as you can see, the ones from last week have already been cleaned up, edited, and then we relink to them. And then this system here shows us if we have any attached sample files with that too. So we can make sure that those are made available to you. So, area idea, decode the content of prefs. Maybe malware could grab that information. If the malware knew about it, and then it would know your name and your email. I'm pretty sure your name and email is not secret, but I guess we could. But the problem is that we'd have to put a key in there and then unencrypt it and do all that, which is fine. I don't mind. I don't normally consider people's names and emails. Listen, you guys have to understand that every day I have someone offering me to sell me all your names and emails, and it's not illegal to buy it, but it's illegal to take action upon it. So we can't like spam people. You know, we email people when they ask us to email them. We don't email people out of the blue. That being said, names and emails. I don't know. Does a name constitute a personal identifying information on in GDPR? I mean, if it was their anything personal, but I'm not sure if name and email qualifies under GDPR. We'd have to check on that. That's a good point. We might have to actually encrypt that. Good point. Although it's on your own computer, we're not sharing the data. And when you download it through JSON, you're doing that download through HTTPS, right, Myles?
Yeah, and I mean, if someone's thinking of using this process and they're kind of worried about that, I mean, we're using the documents directory, but there are other options for that. I mean, if you're creating a more complex process, you could even just use your temp directory, which that will get wiped out once you close FileMaker.
Yeah, so you could use your temp directory. Our concern was that we wanted to survive longer than just the one session. So yeah, yeah. So we but we were able to import those. Oh yeah, no. Okay, so here's the way this works. Those people are asking me about records over here on these. So here's what happens. Since we've been creating videos since 1912 or whatever it was, we started creating videos. We did the first course in FileMaker 13. We've created 4,634 videos. Claris is totally oblivious to this. We try to explain to them, and they they ignore me for the. Anyway, it's kind of funny, but yes, and these are the primary keys over here. So we like if I go over here, press this button right here, Myles, go to the Pro 19 course for us real quick. So when you are looking at the Pro 19 course, which you folks all have, this is how we manage it over here, right? And then when we're done with it, we press the button that actually pushes it to that other table. We can look at that real quick, Myles. So what we do is when we're done with the video here, we say we push it. It goes over to these. Oh, let me get this out of the way here. So right here, these are the 4 tables we put. We do basically a PHP request out of each of these 4 different requests. We get 4 different JSON data dumps. We parse it out, and that's how we update your application. Right? It's definitely senior level stuff. Bunny's head's probably exploded and she's probably crying right now. I love Bunny, but this is decidedly the deep end of the pool. That's why Myles is one of our senior engineers. We've also had people ask us about getting this adapted for their own business, for their own videos, training, etc. And that's definitely something we can do to help you out. We're going to unlock this and give it to you, but we're not going to build it for you. If someone wants this customized or adapted for their organization, they can hire a good FileMaker developer, or maybe you're the great FileMaker developer if you like TK55678 or Andre or Nathan Schneider or Elzo. A bunch of you folks are pretty hotshot developers. You could probably do some of this yourselves. Anyway, but we're trying to structure this and show this. So Myles, if you want to go back over here, so go to Preferences. There's only one record there, right? There's only one record. So that is the record. So when we download it, we're working on a little news thing if we want that, but this is the latest update. And then this is some update information there. But this is the critical part right here. This is the download of the player, and then basically a free link that takes you to that build right there. Now this doesn't get you your license key. This gets you basically the free version without the paid. So in order for this to actually be useful to you, you have to add your license key to it, and that's that other process we talked about. So we do an import on this, then we do the import. If you want to show the other ones real quick, we do an import. I guess courses would be next, would make the most sense. So that's, if you look at these are all the courses. So some of these courses are free, you'll see right here, and then some of them are paid. And then we have a status and primary keys, and we manage all this in here once again. So that's how this is. We also enforce a specific sort order, if you want to press that, Myles, for me. So we can enforce a specific sort order on the when it goes out the door. So this is the sort. This is how it will be displayed in your application natively, if that makes sense. So yeah. So that's this one. Going ahead and move along to the next one, which is the categories. So if you go to the categories, these are all the categories for the courses. So these are the categories for the new course. Then the live streams only have one category, and it's important that people understand kind of the concept about that. You're still showing, but the live streams are this kind of, we pick a topic, we do the topic, but it's not like some sort of very specific hierarchical training from beginner to awesome at the bottom. We jump all over. It's not animated, but it's got live questions and answers. So if that makes sense. So it's not really a cohesive kind of thing, so we don't have categories for it. If you want categories and cohesive curriculum that's specifically structured to make you the best developer possible, then you need to spend the money and buy the video training. That's where that's at. What they call a stream of consciousness is what they said sometimes about live TV, as opposed to on-demand, recorded and highly edited video. So anyway, we come down here. If you scroll down farther, you'll see that we're posting. We got some deploy courses in here. There's the deploy course, which is about cloud and server. Then we have some lean design course stuff we're putting in here. Then we have startups and entrepreneurs. Then we're putting the 18 course in here. The 18 Pro and Go courses in here, I'm pretty sure. And then we're working on getting the 17 Pro and Go course added. And then we'll go all the way back to FileMaker 13. So the idea here is that it's going through the whole process, and it does this import process. So Myles, you want to show us the new search and kind of some of the slide, walk us through those portals on your actual app over here?
Yeah. Let me actually open.
You want to open 21 or as an admin? But you have to open as admin, right?
Yeah, admin, yeah. So I'm just going to use 21 there. You see the exact same file. My Siri activated.
I see your Siri activated. I hate Siri. Is such a piece of work. My daughter's name's Sarah, and I go, "Hey, Sarah," and Siri goes, "Yes, what can I do for you?" I say, "Sarah, you need to mow the lawn, right?" And she goes, "I don't mow lawns," or whatever she says.
So yeah, on top of this new download thing in these builds, we've fixed a couple bugs that I think mostly viewers from here sent in, which was awesome. And then the part that you were just mentioning, Richard, is this search here. This
is really important. So watch this. So the search in here sucked. I did not realize when we shipped it how badly it sucked, and so we fixed it. Right. So go ahead and do some. Type in Anchor, ANCHORL. Yeah, you might want to turn off your notifications next time. So we type it up. It brings up a list. It defaults to all courses. Now, what's interesting about this is that Really, it should default to the current course. I could do all courses, but you can see the anchor buoy was not something we invented for FileMaker 19. It's been around for a while. And then when we update the videos, when they need to be updated, if the content changes, but you can see it was in here in the 18 video course, in the 17 video course, scroll down, in the 16 video course. It should be in the 19. Oh, there. Okay, that's really okay. Well, there's an issue there we need to deal with. It should be in the order of the course freshness. Course freshness, a new term. So that one should have been the top search hit result. But anyway, so that's the idea. Or you can press the current button, and then it would get it on the current course. So if we were in the 19 course at the time we did the search, now we have this. So you can go ahead and press this button, Myles, and we can play against this button if we want, right? Pretty cool. So this is a search that I would use. I love it. I think it's much.
This is yeah, so I mean, this is a pretty cool search feature. I mean, we get lots of emails in, hey, do you have a video on this? I mean, I think this is going to eliminate a lot of that. Or also, if someone's ever like, oh, go check out video 0302, I know Richard says that sometimes in these streams even. You can just search on that and okay, here's the 032 for Go and for Pro, and find videos easily that way.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. So this is a lot better. So once again, when we run the update button, we bring down the data. You want to go under the hood here and show them a little bit how this works? Yeah, go to layout mode and show them these slides. Yeah. So if we go to layout mode, so I'm gonna kind of scroll. I'm zoomed all the way out here. Okay, so go nice and easy. So this is a how many? Okay, I'm gonna zoom in over here a little bit. This is a 3-panel slide control. So these are actually considered panels or slides, but they're panels of a slide control. And so if we do the first one again, this is
that's our course.
That's the select the course one. Then you do the next one. That's the normal view. That's the normal view. So that's the category and then the videos here, right? And then the third one is the search. So before we didn't really have this, but they added I think probably in the ones you folks have, you probably have 1 and 2. Nick added the search here, I think. Anyway, so the idea is that time building this, it's a lot higher on polish than what we would normally want to do on an internal solution. But it's the idea with this, for those of you kind of make sense, is that we can give this away to people, right? The basic player, and then if they want to buy the training in the player because they think it's useful, then they can always do that, right? That's kind of the idea. But we want to have you folks beat on this and bang it out. So, Myles, when are you gonna have like a 21 ready for these folks? Because here's the thing everyone has to understand. I want you to help me test this, but in order to test it, you're gonna have to go to the next version and manually put in your license key. So I have to send you an email. My apology. Because this auto license key, we have to put it in on the next one. So then from that point forward, you won't have to put it in, right? Makes sense. But in order for the license key to be saved, the current one has to save it somewhere. And the version 17 doesn't know anything about this. So, in fact, if we want to talk, well, we'll get to that in a second. But if you're interested in seeing a session on file control, that's a possibility. We do have a great video in there on that. We'll bring that up in a second. But yeah. Myles, if you want to continue here with a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, when we get to that Tuesday or whatever, you'll basically get a new file, and then you'll have to, like you said, manually activate it with your key one time. And then going forward, when new versions come out, this would handle that for you. In terms of more under the hood stuff, yeah, this is that slide control. There's also a bunch of hide features on there. If I hide that, over here, we got a big group. Inside of that, we have another slide control over here. So this is basically once that left panels, the left slide control, that's where you're, doing your course category video. And then basically what's getting populated is its own slide over here where we have video, description, notes, and subscription. So we can toggle through those. So video is your your
And that
main one.
brings and Brad brings up a good point. We're going to pull the notes capability out of this because we're not going to try to update that from release to release. So, I know once upon a time someone said, "Hey, I would like to make notes in here," right? So, I'm not going to. We're not going to support that going forward. If you want to make notes, then it's called a pin or a notes app on your iPad. But yeah. So basically, we have a slide control over here, which is basically our selector. We're selecting the course and the category in the video. Once we make selections over here, it runs a script, which triggers the slide control over here, which is basically the display of content. It's going to show us the actual video or a description, or if you're trying to watch a video that you're not authorized to see yet because you haven't bought it, then it will give you the please go if you want to show that one, Miles. Yeah, it shows this one here where you can go buy the training, right? So everyone pretty much here has the training for the most part, so you shouldn't see this too often. Once again, we will send out, when can we send the 21 to these folks? By Monday sometime? Monday, Miles?
Yeah, I think Monday or Tuesday. I think we could shoot for Monday.
Yeah, shoot them. Well, I'd like them to try the upgrade one, so we might just have it go through the process of they get 21 and then a day later we make 22 available, which will be identical, but it will give them the opportunity to run through the update process, which would be kind of cool, and then see if anyone breaks it on whatever platform. So cool. And so we're going to give you this player. It'll be unlocked obviously probably Tuesday. That'll be probably towards the end of our third day, and we're going to remove the ability to import will be in there, but we're going to remove it to where it talks to our server, stuff like that. So once again, if you have an interest in building an app like this is an idea. You can take this one apart. If you don't want to go through the pain and agony of this and you're not a senior engineer, feel free to get a hold of us, and Myles can help put something together for you for your own business, because people love to have the ability to have training videos. Now, once again, the videos we are posting, we cross-post to YouTube, because YouTube has this great search. People will go search there. But once again, we're back to this idea that YouTube puts cat videos up. They will do everything they can to possibly distract your audience from doing anything useful. If you're just trying to distract people, but a lot of people in business are trying to communicate some sort of idea or message, like buy this or do this or whatever, and YouTube is working against that. So we actually pay Vimeo $5 a month, $10, 25. They have a couple tiers, and you post on Vimeo, and then they won't try to pollute your experience with other people's stuff. Like, oh, this is really great, Ron or Scott, right? Yeah, John Haggerty. It's like, hey, it's well, my brain derailed. I'm watching the comments over here, but the idea is that they're not trying to confuse you with other videos, other cat videos, dog videos. I like helicopters, right? So I'll get a helicopter video about this amazing thing that happened. So Vimeo keeps people focused on message, which is very important. So that's why we broadcast simultaneously to Twitch and YouTube. Twitch doesn't care about recorded video. They have no excrement to give, right? None whatsoever. They will delete the videos either immediately or within a week and a half or so. So we take them off of Twitch. Twitch is great to watch it, but then we edit it on YouTube. We leave it on YouTube a little bit. Today's editing will take a little bit more work, just so we can stay focused on this topic here. But then we also post it to Vimeo. So when you watched a player, you're actually watching this out of Vimeo. Okay, so we're not worried about YouTube screwing that up or something. Videos, and then when people say, well, I like the fact that we can speed it up or slow it down, there's a speed up or whatever the control options are. Those are control options we didn't set up. Those are what's available from Vimeo. And so like the other day, someone was going, I'm going to make you full screen here. Go ahead and press the speed up, slow down if you want to play that a little bit, Myles. Start it playing. Yeah, so then there's a speed, and so someone goes, hey, Richard, right? I really like it to be... Well, it seemed to have it in there. I don't think he had a 1 1/4 setting, right? Someone wanted a 1 1/4 setting. It only had 1 1/2, so I don't know. Interesting. But people will play the videos at different speeds, especially if it's a basic video, right? Then we get into some advanced stuff, like Anchor Buoy, and some people will take it a little slower because I might say something, but they'll pause and try to mentally understand the gymnastics there, right? I never hear of anyone going slower, but I definitely hear people going 0.25 and 0.5. So that's it for now. I'll catch you next week. Thanks, everyone.
And the guys just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Try to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap. Stands in, throws it left for Amendola. Reaches up and snacks a high throw and lands inside the 10. Rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.